You are now listening to the iWalter Show. Real talk about nothing.
Faster than a speeding bullet, more powerful than a locomotive, able to leap tall buildings in a single bound. Look, up in the sky, it's a bird brain, it's a plane, it's iWalter. Yes, it's iWalter, strange visitor from another planet who came to Earth with powers and abilities far beyond those of mortal men. iWalter, who can change the course of mighty rivers, bend ears with his annoying voice, and who disguised as Walter Interranti, mild-mannered janitor for a great metropolitan newspaper, fights a never-ending battle for truth, nonsense, and the American way. And now, another exciting episode in the adventures of iWalter.
Hey, this is iWalter from Walter from iWalter Show. I'm actually, can I mention the name?
I would just, stay with me. We're sitting here with Mark Costello. That's all right.
Okay.
I'm bringing it again.
Mark Costello.
Right. Hi, Walter. How are you? From the what is it, the iWalter Show?
iWalter Show.
I love it.
Thank you.
Cool. You got a new listener in me, man.
Yeah, thank you. I hope I can get some more listeners. Can I mention where you're working?
We are. We are at you're visiting the Secret Stash right now.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. Mark, I just wanted to ask you a little bit about how you are involved. I know you said you worked in New York for quite a few years.
Yeah, I worked in New York City before I came down here, and I was lucky enough to start working here at the Secret Stash. But for a while, I was up in Manhattan at a ladies' handbag company, but that was a long time ago. And then I was blessed enough to come down here, and I'm now happily working here at the Secret Stash in Red Bank, New Jersey.
Yeah. Now, the thing was, when you were in New York, though, I guess one of my questions I would have for you, did you meet any interesting people on the streets of New York, Manhattan?
Too many. I think if you go back to when I was in the music business, that's probably where I would have met more of the colorful characters, because back in the late 80s, I was building guitars for a guitar company here in New Jersey called Kramer Guitars, and they were involved with building instruments for notable acts back at the time, like Van Halen and Bon Jovi and Motley Crue. The list goes on and on.
Yeah.
And I was fortunate enough that I started working there at a really young age, and I became a luthier's apprentice. And I worked there until I was about 20 years old, maybe 21 years old. And I was lucky enough to build guitars for, like I said, I worked on guitars for Kirk Hammett from Metallica. I worked on guitars for the gentleman in Styx, the band Styx, still plays one of the guitars. I worked on JY. He's still playing a Kramer. I worked on next for Vivian Campbell, who used to play Whitesnake. We used to play in Dio as well. I never really worked on any of Edward Van Halen's guitars, but I did do neck dressings for, like I said, Bon Jovi and also Motley Crue, bands like that. So that was a real fun way to kind of grow up, in the 80s in the music business. And you and me being around the same age, Walter, you can remember how much fun the 80s were.
Oh, they were my favorite times.
Right? I mean, and it was a lot of fun to grow up that way, and also get the education as far as becoming a luthier's apprentice, because it's not like they have a lot of schools where you can go, hey, I want to be a guitar builder. So, you're going to go out and try to learn how to build guitars or something like that. So it was basically like if you lived near, let's say, a plumbing company, or if you lived near a so-and-so company, and you went there as a kid and you started to learn from sweeping the floors all the way up. That's what I did at that place. So, and it was a great education. Unfortunately, I can't use it right now because there aren't that many guitar companies here in America, let alone locally. Yeah. So, there's not a place where I could go and start building guitars again.
Oh, yeah.
But believe me, everything's worked out fine. I'm very, very happy here at the Stash.
Oh, I don't blame you. So, well, one thing I remember when I was talking to you earlier, you mentioned that actually you were, not Bon Jovi, but his father?
No, I actually know the whole family.
Okay, the whole family.
I'll give you the Reader's Digest version, if you will.
Yeah.
Okay, what happened was, when I was working at the Kramer Guitar Factory, I was working with the department that built the guitars for Richie Sambora and John Bon Jovi. I had met them in passing, if you will, or at a professional level back in those days.
Yes.
But as times progressed, what had happened was I realized that when I was a kid, I was working at a country club that John's father was a member. So I was actually cleaning Mr. Bon Jovi's golf clubs.
Yeah, I remember you mentioned that.
Right,
really
and
cool.
And then it turns out that John has John's youngest brother, Matt. Okay. And I have been friends for a real long time. We went to the same high school together, and I knew John before I knew Matt. Okay. But then it turns out that I ended up, getting to be friends with the whole family. As a matter of fact, in 1989, we went over to Moscow, Russia, all as a unit to take part in what was called the Moscow Music Peace Festival.
Wow.
And it was like a drug awareness program. Kramer Guitars was heavily involved, along with Bon Jovi's management, a gentleman by the name of Doc McGee, and he still manages Kiss and bands like that.
Okay.
And we all went over to Russia. We did this 2-day concert at the Olympic Stadium that they have there. They even lit the Olympic torch while we were there. It was crazy. It was really wild.
Cool. Yeah.
And it was 2 days, and I believe the bill was like Skid Row, Ozzy Osbourne,
Wow.
Motley Crue, Bon Jovi, pretty heavy hitters. It was in a Russian band called Gorky Park. And, it was an experience, not only to take part on a professional level as far as making sure the equipment was okay for these guys and being in such a high-stress kind of environment, but also getting to see Moscow in 1989.
Yes.
This is before Perestroika. This is before, if I said that correctly. And this is also before, communism fell.
Yeah.
So it was quite a sight to behold back then.
That sounds really cool. So obviously you've met, some interesting people up in New York and stuff, working there and things.
All throughout. I mean,
and in Jersey too.
Yeah, well, you know what it is, Walter. It's funny because I've always found myself in these situations where, by the work that I do, I am surrounded by people who are interesting or in entertainment and so on and so forth.
Yeah,
and I've always been in some capacity doing something like this in my life. Always behind the scenes, but at the Guitar Factory, I was building these guitars, and then I would see or let me rephrase that. I was helping to build these guitars and part of a team, and I would see the finished product go up on a stage at the Madison Square Garden or at the Brendan Byrne Arena.
Okay.
And it was really, really cool at the time.
Yeah.
So, now here working at the Stash, it's funny because, I work here at the store, but then I get to see the guys who have their own television show, and, so I kind of live like that life now, where I get to see these guys with their show, and it kind of reminds me of what I used to do back in the music business.
Now, that's the thing that I actually have a question about. Has this changed your life, I guess, working in Jay and Silent Bob? I mean, have become, I guess you got a touch of, fan, or what do you call it, like fame, so to speak.
Well, you know what it is? It's because the store is so recognizable, and because so many people come here, as you and I were talking about before we started to interview, so many people will, this is a very important place, and I understand why. I love the Stash too, and I have for so long, but it's changed all for the positive, and for me, it's always about, and I think I mentioned this too, I just love meeting the people that come here. I mean, everybody is so nice, and everybody has such interesting stories, and that's my favorite part of this job, is just that, we get to meet so many different interesting people.
From around the world.
Right, and from around the world. And people come in here from the United Kingdom, Australia, Sri Lanka, Vietnam. We've had pretty much the United Nations, I think, has been represented through here. But what else is, it's very nice because when people come here, they're in a very good mood.
Yes.
Because obviously they wanted to come here, and when they show up, they're in a real good mood. And I'm always in a good mood, so it always works out well.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I mean, so you like this? I'm almost mentioned this. I remember you said I'm the same way. I've never read comic books before.
Well, it's not that I don't read them. It's just that I don't have the same comprehensive knowledge that the guys do. And of course, I wouldn't, because these guys have been reading and collecting comics their entire lives. Where it's some people hunt, some people fish, some people read comic books, some people, I used to collect toys back in the day.
I did the same, but I mean, you learned a lot from working in the store.
I learned a lot. I learned a lot from Mike and from Walt and from Ming and from Jeff and but I also learned a lot from the customers when the customers come in, and I get an education.
Yeah,
like that, because if they ask questions, and I've been here, I think this is going on my 5th year. And just the familiarity of the questions and the repetitiveness of the same questions you learn. And I've taken an interest in some of the books. I sure do love reading Batman, and I've read some Deadpool stuff. I love The Walking Dead. Man, I love that comic book.
It's just weird because honestly, when you mention The Walking Dead, I think Walking Dead, I remember a friend who actually read the graphic novels, and they took a different direction with the TV show. Absolutely. But it seemed, obviously, it's doing very well by doing that. They made a spinoff now.
Oh, yeah, and the nice thing that I like about the comic book is that it's like you're getting 2 stories.
Yeah.
The TV show is totally different. So if you read the comic and you watch it, it's like you're getting 2 Walking Deads. That's why I like it.
Okay. Yeah, well, that's true, because then I got the prequel going on.
Right. Yeah, it was a Fear of the
Walking Dead.
One of the gentlemen who was on that show came in here to the store. His name's escaping me, but Ming had brought him in. He had met him at a Walker Stalker.
Okay, yeah, there's one
guy. He has his hair parted to the side. He's a younger gentleman on the show.
Okay,
like a Spanish name, I think. It's real terrible. You know what? While we're talking, I'm gonna pull up.
That's cool.
Not seem to not know my shit, which I don't.
No, actually, I'm the same way. It was funny. A couple years ago, I went down to Covington or down to Georgia. I actually went into the location where they shoot The Walking Dead. Oh, cool. Yeah, and the guy who plays the sheriff, I didn't realize he was British or something like that.
He is. He's from the UK, right?
Yeah, I heard he. I didn't get to see him because they had too many security around there and everything like that. But I heard his accent is pretty strong.
I heard him in an interview, and it's funny because he does such a good whatever that is. What is it? They're supposed to be in Atlanta. He does such an American accent.
Oh, I know. It's just funny because a lot of these actors are like playing American parts are actually British people.
More so, have you noticed more so lately, right?
Yes.
When you're younger, like
I know.
And they can pull it off so well. Even I try to do British accents, which is like a couple of tools over here.
Oh yeah. Well, we're the ones technically with the accent. I assume. Now, even I guess I would assume the guy who plays Superman. I can't remember his name.
Right.
He's British.
He's British too. That's Walter, you know what? That's a good example. It's true. Hey, maybe they're taking over. They're taking all our good parts.
I think so.
This gentleman's name, and I'm looking up here, is Lincoln Castellanos.
Okay.
It's this young man here. He plays Tobias in Fear the Walking Dead.
Oh, okay. I think I might have seen that. I haven't watched it religiously. I know my dad does it. Now, I'm embarrassed to say this, though, Mark. Mm-hmm. My one friend that you were on the phone with earlier, Todd, and my dad watched The Walking Dead and watched Comic Book Man.
Oh, cool.
So I will neither confirm or deny at this time, Senator, if I'm actually on the same page. But
I hear you.
Yeah. So, but
that's funny. And where is your dad living? Where is he?
I hate to say this. I'm one of these perpetual adolescent people. Moved back home centuries ago.
There ain't nothing wrong with that. But where is that? Where was home?
Trooper, King of Prussia area, basically.
Gotcha,
so, yeah.
Okay.
So, but yeah, her come, and, I always make, the Ben Stern kind of joke of how my dad talks, and my nickname is Woody. So I go, hey, Woody, the comic book men are on right now. Or, I'm watching The Walking Dead. Yeah, this is really cool.
Let me tell you, just God bless that you still have them around to talk to.
They drive me nuts. We drive each other nuts.
Thank God they're still around and do it. God bless them, right?
No, I know. The only thing is they're retired now, so.
More time to drive you nuts.
Yeah, exactly. Me to drive them nuts, too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, it's been nothing but a positive here at the stash. I'm so glad that you were able to come in and visit us. I know that you're going to come back and try to get a couple of whatever you had planned, but I wish you the best of luck with it. And
hopefully not get us, restraining order against me from coming in the store too many times.
But I sure appreciate you having me on, Walter. I wish you the best of luck with the podcast. Like I said, you have a new listener in me. I guarantee you that.
Cross my fingers.
This is the new show that I'll be listening to, and it's called
iWalter.
And, so thanks again for having me. This is Mark Costello, and thanks, Walter. I really appreciate your time.
No, Mark, I appreciate you at least doing this for me. Hey, this makes my birthday.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, thank you. I'm getting those senior discounts soon. Hopefully get them out here, too. So I'll be looking forward to those.
Sounds good, man.
Yeah. Mark, thank you so much. Yeah. Alrighty, this is iWalter. I did an interview a little bit with Mark from Jay and Silent Bob's Secret Stash. Oh, yeah. Thanks again, and I'm signing off for now.